Well, hello, Bob Dendry here, and welcome back to Transport Fever 2, where we are building the Reno, Thousand Oaks and Roseville Railway. So, last episode we got in this new goods sort of industry chain, and I think it's worked out pretty well. If we pop over to our Long Beach goods station, we can see that our train going up to Lancaster is actually already at capacity, like way at capacity. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly take the opportunity now. If we just quickly pause the game so we don't break anything, we will extend that to a 320 meter long train, so it can hopefully have a little bit better of a chance to take the rest of the goods. Cool. So that will now fill up with a few more goods. It should, so it'll take in 60, so it's still actually going to need a bit more capacity, but we're okay with that at the moment. Now, what this episode is going to be all about is really trying our goddamn hardest to really integrate this goods chain into the rest of the network. Obviously, we've got a lot of stations and towns that would like to get some goods that aren't necessarily getting them right now. So we've got our sort of distribution set up here at Lancaster. That's going to be good for us because it'll get goods moving to places we might not necessarily have the chance to set up individual lines for, which has been I think a bit of a revelation from this this particular playthrough, that we can actually do that. But there's a few places that aren't currently connected up to this this food sort of line thing. So Santa Clara is one place that we don't have hooked up right now, but we can definitely run a goods train over here. Let's see, do we have coverage with our current distribution network for goods? Yes, we do. There's not massive demand, but we could definitely get some in there. We could potentially even set up a dedicated line from our freight distribution station here, because there's probably enough to handle or to support a bit of that. And while we're doing that, I do want to have some general sort of cleanups of some of our lines that potentially haven't had some attention in a little while. I want to start over here at our sawmill here at Santa Clara. As you can see, there's a pretty big demand for wood from Indianapolis that we're not really covering. We've got a fairly old train running on this with old carriages. It can only take 222. So I think we might have the opportunity to upgrade this, potentially put a second train on it, which should hopefully allow us to take some more planks back to our tool factory, because our tool factory is struggling a little bit to cater for demand as well. So if we pop in here, we can manage this vehicle. We'll probably just replace the whole thing, to be honest, and get a Dash 8 running on it. And if we get some of our lovely new state cars, we've actually got exactly the same capacity, which is pretty funny, to be honest. That's fine. We'll do that replacement anyway. It'll get things flowing a little bit faster. So we might just need to get a second train running here, which is fine as well. We have double track most of the way, so we can definitely cover it, you know, without doing too much damage to our... Oh, that's interesting. Indianapolis doesn't have any supplies coming in. That's weird. I actually didn't realize that we'd done that. So we've catered for goods to come in, but we haven't delivered any. So that's something we're going to have to look at this episode as well. But yeah, what we're going to do, we're going to clone this one and get it running. And probably get a second platform, or a fourth platform actually, in here. And then over here on the way to our wood station, we will add a passing loop in, just to stop us from holding up the main passenger line. Cool, so that'll allow us to boost our throughput on that wood line. And now let's have a look at Indianapolis and see what sort of freight requirements it has. Obviously, it needs goods and bricks, which we've got plenty of both. So let's have a look and see where our demand is lying. So lots of bricks are right around the station, probably a reasonable amount. I can't say amount today. That's weird. Probably quite a bit of this brick demand is being covered by the station itself, but not really any of our goods. So we're going to set up a distribution network to support the delivery of goods into this city. All right, let's get that distribution network set up. Next, let's get our freight trains set up to run to Indianapolis. So bricks, I think, is probably going to be where we'll start. Let's see how much spare capacity we have. We actually don't have a lot of spare capacity left at Roseville. We're pretty much producing everything you can actually produce, which is interesting. Okay, in that case, we'll start with goods. That's a nice easy one because we can obviously boost our goods production should we need to. So we're just going to go the whole hog here, 240 meters long, and we'll set up a line to do that. This is quite a long distance line as well. Potentially we could make this work better by having a goods production facility closer by, which I think we probably have one somewhere. I'm seeing over here at Ann Arbor, it looks like, but it's okay. It is what it is. We've got our goods train running to our Lancaster freight depot, which is just arriving now. As you can see, 240 meters. As you can see, 240 capacity is absolutely full of goods ready to distribute to the rest of our network. So it'll be interesting to see exactly where those flow and if we can make a lovely, nice profit from that. $15 million, beautiful, look at that. And where are they going? Well, they're going pretty much everywhere. There's a lot going to Thousand Oaks, which is interesting. But other than that, everything's sort of fairly evenly split across the rest of the network. So yeah, I think that's a really good, positive, and quite simple step we can take to start getting those goods flowing. I think given the fact that we've got so much goods going directly over to Thousand Oaks, we should probably just set up its own direct line. That makes sense. We really only want to be using this Lancaster sort of hub to serve the towns that aren't requiring massive amounts of a good, but enough that we should probably try and handle that for them. So we'll get a new boxcar train set up to head off to Thousand Oaks to handle that directly. We can't actually connect them up. I believe it's probably because we need a setup here. I think that should fix it. Yes, that seems to have fixed it. Cool. Next thing I want to look at is our Fontana goods station. It's not long enough. The reason for that, we have massive demand for bricks for Fontana. I think this is the Fontana. Yeah, so it can carry 234. If we pop over to Roseville, we have another 172 already sitting there good to go. So we can definitely increase the length of this station to be able to allow a 320 meter long train. So we're going to do that next. We're going to need to slightly change the position of our truck station, which we'll do once this guy gets out of here. But other than that, it should be a fairly smooth change. Okay, there's a very long set of tracks now, so that will allow us to increase the length of our bricks train. We'll also replace this with a Dash 8 to allow it to pull those with no real issues, hopefully. I've also got the opportunity to take some goods up to Hollywood, which has actually quite a large demand for goods that's not being met. I've already set up a little bit of a distribution network to get goods to where they need to go. So we're going to get a train created and start sending that on its way. Before we do that, we will need to set this up as a triangle. As you can see, it's only set up for the trains to go in one direction when they're coming from Long Beach. So we will need to just quickly fix that. And that is a nice, easy peasy one. So I'm thinking we should be able to do with a fairly long, high capacity train here. So we'll go with a -8 and we'll take it up straight up to 320 meters. I don't think we've got any issues with doing that. And that should hopefully allow us to grow Hollywood a little bit more as well. As you can see, our Long Beach goods factory is now doing really well. It's about to level up for the second time. So what we're going to see from that is we're going to see a boost of demand for paper, which is already happening. It's already full, which is also pushing a demand for more wood. So I think this is going to be quite nice. So we'll push this one up to 320 then. And if we pop over here, let's push our plastics train up to 320. Beautiful. We'll push our grain train up to 320. And potentially we might want to add a second train in, but I think it's fine for the moment. One thing we're going to have to do though, we're going to have to add a second train to our Lancaster goods line. I wasn't expecting it to be as successful as it has been. I wasn't expecting it to be as successful as it has been, but yeah, obviously there is a lot of demand for goods through this network that we're setting up. So the train can carry 240. So what we might do is set up a passing loop here in case we have any issues with the train needing to wait for another one to pass. Because once again, we don't want that holding up the main line. And yeah, let's get this one duplicated. I did it off screen, but I've also really boosted the production on our food processing plant now. As you can see, it's doing like gangbusters right now. Which is really pushing our freight depot to the limits. So I'm going to try and boost the sort of holding capacity on this line as well. So we've got a small main building at the moment. Let's see if we can get that switched across to a larger one. Alright, and that will slightly increase our capacity. As we can see, it's not overflowing just now. So hopefully that should do us well for the moment. Alright, and we've got a bit of cash left over at the end of the episode, as you can see. Well, quite a bit of cash, which is unusual for me. So we're going to take this opportunity to continue our modernisation project on our passenger lines. Obviously, our passenger trains are super expensive, which means we don't often get the opportunity to upgrade them. So what we're going to do, we're going to get a new Avelia Liberty for our Hollywood Express line. So I'm going to... Cool. Oh, actually, our money went down a little bit. Fair enough. Alright, money's back up, so we'll do that clone now. And we'll get train number 5 decommissioned. Now, its capacity is lower than our Liberty trains, so it is good. It will slightly increase the capacity, so I'm happy to get rid of this train, knowing that. So we will get it sold. That's a nice little boost of a couple $1 million to our budget, but overall, obviously, we're still in the red now that we've made that large purchase. But this will help this line to grow more. Obviously, it's high capacity and high speed as well. So the sooner we get rid of that second remaining diesel, the quicker this is going to be our luxury headline route. So really excited for that. But that's going to be about it for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you get a ding to your device the next time I post a video. You can find links to all my social media in the description, so please jump on there, like, follow, subscribe, do all that wonderful stuff. But until next time, I'm Bob Dendry. This is Transport Fever 2. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.